What's your opinion of people that describe Israel as an apartheid state?
Maybe they've never experienced South Africa, neither have I, but I've read the book about Let My People Go. It's nothing like what happens in Israel. In Israel, people, more or less, I've been there so many times, people are doing what they want, more or less. And they interact with each other. I wouldn't be able to go if it was an apartheid state. So I wonder what they mean.
Say that Israel, who has Arab ministers of state, Arab members of Knesset, Arab generals, Arab judges, when Israeli Arabs have full rights, and the only country that Arabs have full rights, and Israel is accused of being an apartheid state, shows either hatred of Jews or just downright ignoramuses.
And Israel has been described as an apartheid state. Would you go along with that?
Well, I've lived there, so yes, I know it is. It definitely is.
And when you lived there, how did that manifest itself?
Well, to give you one example, I went into a shop in Beersheba to buy some food. I went to buy Lebanon yogurt and was told by the person at the till, an Israeli, that I couldn't buy it. He only served human beings, and his food was for human beings only. If you consider that they put Palestinians on buses from the occupied territories, they bring them into moshavs inside Israel every day. They work from 7 in the morning until the dark comes without any breaks in the boiling heat. They don't have to give them water, and at the end of the day, instead of paying them money, and we're talking here about women and children, they give them a box of tomatoes which are so substandard that they can't export them.
What would you say to people that call Israel an apartheid state?
Well, the wall is just in front of my house, and after they put it, I've been destroyed economically in many ways. But even though after they put it, you can see that the suicide bombers stop. Do you find any? Well, no. So you see it that way. The Palestinians are bringing those stuff for themselves, by themselves.
So you understand why the wall had to be erected?
Yeah. No, I understand very well. Even if it destroyed my life. Yeah.
So if you were Prime Minister of Israel, would you have put that wall up?
Yeah.
You would have?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's an amazing statement coming from a Palestinian.
Who was woke up by an Israeli soldier by a gun of...
Many people here believe that Israel is an apartheid state.
Sure.
Can you tell my viewers why people think that?
Why people think that? I mean, it's a bit of a loaded question, but I think, well, because of the facts. Israel is built, like many other countries, on genocide, ethnic cleansing, which is still taking place against international law. And an entire population, through no fault of its own, has been is living in ghettos with sanctioned collective punishment for what they would call terrorism, but what is really just self-defense.
People in the United Kingdom, non-Jewish people, think that Israel is an apartheid state. How do you respond to that?
Well, if you check the reality about Israel, you see that not even one characteristic of the apartheid in South Africa of those years appears in Israel. In Israel, we don't have separate hospitals for Jews and Arabs. We don't have separate buses. We don't have separate neighborhoods. Any Arab can buy an apartment wherever he likes. We don't even, there are Jews who are married to Arabs, men and women. It's not forbidden by the law. There is not even one law which goes according to the apartheid laws in South Africa. So it's more of a legend